Today's lesson will be part 2 on how to buy, renovate, and sell or hold websites for a profit or semi-passive cash flow. Hey, what's going on, my fellow future millionaires? Justin Williams here. As mentioned, today is part 2 of a 4-part series we are doing on how to buy, fix, and flip or hold websites. That's right, digital assets. This is a topic I absolutely love. We have brought on Matt Raad from E-Business Institute, and he has been delivering the gold. If you have not yet listened to the first part of this series, go back and listen to the last episode and then come back to this one. But with that, let's get back to it. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the one and only Matt Raad. So let's talk about how to buy from private sellers now. We know the different brokerage sites, flippa.com, etc. If I want to get like a diamond in the rough type deal that most people don't know about, how do I go about that?
Our way was always, because we just emulated what we did with bricks and mortar businesses, except we do it virtually. So we're just quietly and discreetly door knocking. So in this instance, it's emails. So on most websites, there is a contact form, and also we would look up the domain name information on who is. You can easily Google how to do that, and we can send them private emails. The other way is by Facebook groups. A fantastic story in our community, Annette, she had just sold her bricks and mortar business. I'd kind of known her for quite a few years, and she joined back into our course. And she said, "Oh, Matt, I'm retired. I'm going to go traveling around Australia now in a caravan." So it's like RVing, but here it's called caravanning. And that she's, grey nomad. I said to her, well, just learn how to build a website first. So you can play with this when you're on the road. You can do it part-time. And she did that really well. And so she built a website in the travel niche reviewing four-wheel drive equipment. And she got it to making $1,000 a month. This is this lovely lady who's just retired. She got it to making $1,000 a month reviewing all this really cool four-wheel drive equipment, recovery gear and stuff like that. So she gets affiliate commissions for that from Amazon and from the big distributors. And it works so well. And she was in retiree Facebook group. And someone one day just popped up. There's a big group here in Australia. Someone just put a post on there one day and said, "Hey, I'm literally retiring from my travel blog. We've stopped traveling Australia now. I've run this blog for the last 14 years. Would anyone want to buy it off me?" Not a single person responded because no one knows that you can even buy websites. And Annette just looked at it and went, "That is gold." So she just contacted her, rang her, really nice person, genuine person. And then in the end, the lady said, "Oh, I'll take $5,000 for it." It's a 14-year-old website with all the stories, the travel stories on there, already making a little bit of money. But Annette had already just learned how to make $1,000 a month off a starter site. So she got that pretty quickly to making $4,000 a month. She got that through a private deal in a private forum on a Facebook group. Now, that's very common now. That wasn't around when Liz and I first started.
The hardest thing for most people in business is getting started, getting going. But once you do, you acquire this knowledge. Then you know like what you're looking for. Business is exponential because of the knowledge that you have, the expertise that you gain. You then know what to look for. You start to put in systems and processes. When you become good at real estate investing, you see a deal and you're like, "That's a killer deal." It's like,
that was exactly it. Just what was amazing, she loves telling this story. She said, there's however many tens of thousands of people in this forum. Not a single person replied to the lady.
Crazy. No one else saw the deal. Yeah.
They're the true diamonds in the rough that we're looking for, the ones that no one else sees. Sometimes you see them on Flippa, because people don't know how to list. There are tens of thousands of people every day on Flippa, and we've got clients that have bought absolutely mind-blowing bargain websites, actually like the one that I mentioned, Greg, with that guitar site. That is actually a really good website that everyone should have bought. Even on broker platforms, if you've got specific knowledge, say like Annette, she knows off a four-wheel drive site, she can make $1,000 a month. That was a beginner site and she did pretty well with it. So once you know how to do this, it's exactly what you just said. It's just a knowledge gap. And for some of us, Justin, like myself and you, we're a bit technically challenged. So it takes longer to learn. You can literally just jump on the Flipper right now or any broker and buy instant income. And someone like yourself could. But for your average person now, you'll notice if you've listened to our stuff, we don't really push the instant income thing because I think it's not quite right because there's this knowledge gap. You've just got to learn a few technical things and how to do due diligence. Now, most people have never bought a business in their life. And that's something we're really passionate about, teaching people. We made a lot of mistakes early in our career buying businesses. We're experts at valuing multi-million-dollar businesses, everything. I think that's probably the main skill or the gap that people need to fill, is just knowing how to do due diligence. And for myself and you, if you're technically challenged, we can definitely teach you that. That's something we're really passionate about as well, because there is technical skills that you need, but they're a lot of fun. It's basically building websites. But I guess in a way, you're becoming a blogger. Now, that's very exciting and very satisfying for a lot of us when we get a bit older, to be able to build a website. Once you've got the knowledge, though, of course, you outsource everything. But it's one step at a time, foundational skills first.
How do I find the websites just online for me to reach out to these people?
I reckon what you're trying to ask me, Justin, is there an easy way? And the answer is no. Like anything in life, you've got to put in the effort. It does take time. So Nathan and Alexa, I love those guys because they love this strategy and they know that they're out there. It's not hustling at all. That would be the wrong word, but you're constantly searching. So what you're doing is you're looking in certain niches and you're just constantly approaching people. It sounds really exciting when I talk about success stories and how successful Liz and I have been with it. That's how we started online. You got to remember, there's a lot of work that goes in it in the background. It's 100 to 1. But for every 100 website owners or online businesses that we approach or look at, now some of them might only take minutes, but it's about 100 to 1. That will get about a 1% hit rate, but it's worth it. It can be really good. So in terms of how do you just jump online, the main thing is, if you want to know how websites work and you want to know a couple of niches, and then you start going through them. And what we teach is, don't go to the front page of Google, even though Google's changed a little bit now, but go to the low ranking websites on Google and just start emailing them. 2 sentences, it's all. You just say, hey, I noticed you haven't done a lot on your website recently. Just wondering, would you be interested in selling? I'm a cash buyer. We love this niche. We want to expand into this niche, and I really like the look of your site. Just hit reply. That's it.
You start with a niche, whether it's something that you have experience with or something that you're interested in. So, for example, my son, he loves birds. He loves trampoline. Like, he does flips on trampolines. They call it freestyle trampolining.
We have some really good success stories with people that own trampoline review sites. See, the bird niche could actually be really, really good because that's a genuine passion niche. There's a lot of people, and that's the niches we really like. See, the trampoline niche is a more commercialized niche where it can be very successful. You've probably seen success stories in our community with trampoline niches. But the bird niche, now that's an interesting one. You know why? Because most people in that niche are probably not making much money out of their bird website. Now, if you know how to do it and then you turn up, you don't tell them that you know how to do it, but you email them and say, hey, what are you doing with your website? Would you be interested in selling it? They go, yeah, you know what? Because it takes work to keep a website going, right? You've got to post some content. So a lot of people go, well, how much you're offering? And this is what Annette chatted to that caravanning lady about. And they just agreed on a mutually agreeable price of $5,000. It'd be the same for your son with a bird site. Imagine a 10-year-old bird site where someone's kind of like, well, I'm not really doing anything. And someone's offering me $2,000 for it. I'll take it.
Yeah, if they aren't doing anything to it. And he loves dragon fruit too. We used to have over 100 different varieties of dragon fruit in our yard.
Wow. Okay. See, that sort of stuff is really cool. So when you've got specific niches, but what actually, if I can go into a little bit of strategy here, what the goal is in those ones, because they are so niche, you still want ones, all things being equal, with a bit of traffic. So what we need to be careful of is that we're not going too neglected. You don't want to buy a website that was set up and then just totally left alone. So that's a good thing. If you know how to do due diligence on a website, you can tell that in minutes. That's the really cool thing, because you can look at their Google Analytics or you can reverse engineer the site and you can see roughly how much traffic it has. Then you know you're onto the goal, because once you know what you're doing, we have a saying, traffic is worth money, because at the very least you can just put ads on there and people will click on it. That's how people make money off recipe sites these days. When we started, you wouldn't buy a recipe site because there's so much work because you've got to keep posting. Now they're worth 7 figures. The sites that we used to look at, that we used to turn our nose up, the brokers are all laughing at me going, you were wrong on, we have a joke, like live in front of all our audiences. I had a broker once say, oh, Matt, I'm going to pull you up on the recipe sites now. If anyone's got a good recipe site, I can sell it for millions of dollars. And he literally just sold one 2 days before about paleo diets or whatever. So it's all about the traffic, but I like teaching people because it's easier wins to go for these niche passion sites like, on birds and things like that, or caravanning or whatever. And you ideally want to find ones that are real and that actually do have some traffic to them. If you go into that effort, don't buy the starter ones in that space, that someone built and did nothing, like have no traffic, because the traffic that's worth the money. That's the gold.
If my son was looking online, he looks up dragon fruit and he finds some websites on there. He can kind of click around. He can use, what tool did you mention?
Ideally, you need access to the website. So it's once you start the due diligence process, when you're talking to the owner and say, hey, how much traffic comes in the site? And it's called Google Analytics. It's a free tool. But when you get a bit more advanced, there are tools that estimate. It's very, very rough though, the traffic. So once you get professional at this, they're quite expensive tools. They cost like $100. Yeah, it sounds expensive. It's actually not, but it's about $100 a month for some of the tools. They're called like SEMrush or Ahrefs. You've probably heard of those. You can use a free version though called SimilarWeb, and you can get free accounts with those tools to estimate the traffic. So in the first week, before you even talk to the owner, you would use one of those tools to get a rough estimation, and you're also looking for the age of the site. Typically, the older the site, the more valuable they are. That's gold. Like all these examples I've given today, that's why I get so excited for my clients when they say, hey, Matt, I bought a 14-year-old website for $5,000. I'm like, oh, yes, that is just, it's got real traffic, real content on there. If it's got a social media presence, you can also approach them through their own Facebook groups as well. If you see neglected Facebook groups and it's attached to a good website, you can get the whole lot really cheap. So that's the other way to do it.
So that's like an additional set of eyeballs, like you said.
It is, yeah. And coming back to the original thing, I do want to read it. There's no shortcut here. That's why it works in niches that or that you're interested in. So for me, like I'm a bit of a SEO geek. In all my spare time, even on my lunch breaks, no matter what I'm doing, I'm constantly looking at websites. And then it's just a habit. If I hear about a new topic, like say dragon fruit, I'll probably be looking that up later on. And I'll show my kids or Liz and go, oh, look at this. Look how this site makes money. And then I get really excited. You'd go down the rabbit hole and then maybe I'll start emailing people.
Okay. So let's keep going deeper at that. After this call, you're excited about dragon fruit niches now. And you go online, you look up dragon fruit. Are you clicking on the ones at the top or the bottom? Or are you just like scrolling through?
The first thing that I want to look at is the top level sites. Just look at the first 10 website listings. I literally right click open tab. My browsers, and Liz's is the same, can have 50 to 60 tabs open at once. And I look at every single website. And what I'm looking for is, how are these guys making money in this dragon fruit niche? What are the top guys doing? And then what I do is I start going down all the rankings. And then it gets really interesting because I notice the people that are just passionate about it, but they're just kind of blogging about it, they're not making any money. And I just go, cool, I'll buy that site and I'll just implement the same either affiliate offers or AdSense blocks. It'll be one of the two.
So in real estate, we consider that like the after repaired value. It's almost like looking at not comps totally, but it's kind of like, what's the potential here? What do I got to do to this website to make it be up to where that website is?
There's another level to this, which I should mention, talking about recipe sites, right? So for years, I used to say to people, to beginners, not to advanced people or intermediates, but if you're a beginner, don't buy a recipe site, because when you do what I just described, you'll notice there's lots and lots of recipe sites. They're not passive. They're posting every single day. And so what I'm also looking at is the business model. Depends on how I want my life. So this is why we like to get to know people, because if someone says to me, hey, Matt, I'm burnt out, I need to stop work and I just want to do a side hustle and take it. No one ever wants to take things easy, not in our community, but I don't want to be working 5 to 9 again. Go, all right, your strategy is different. But if you want to be a recipe blogger full time at it, then go for your life. So that's the other thing that we're looking for is, how are these guys working these websites? Not just, sorry, I should have added that. It's not just how they monetize them, but it's also what's the sort of work that you have to do on these sites to get them ranking. Because there's certain niches, is what I was going to say, like the recipe niche, that as a beginner, you probably wouldn't bother finding neglected sites or diamonds in the rough unless you knew what you were going to do to turn them around. There might be easier niches to go into. So again, it's this knowledge gap thing. Once you're experienced, though, you can make some really very accurate judgment calls on any niche.
So basically, I'm going to stick with the dragon fruit analogy. If you go on and you see the top guys in the space, they only blog once a month or haven't put a bunch of content in a while, but they're still the top. Google Analytics shows high. Then you know, okay, I don't have to do this every day. There's not a ton of maintenance that goes into this because we got to think about our time value. We got to put that into the equation as well when we're calculating.
You're spot on. That's the goal. So you can look at the dates. I always look at their blog and I see the dates that they were publishing. Here's a real inside secret that we normally only teach to our high-level coaching clients, but this is my SOP, my standard operating procedure. I'll then flick down into the footer, particularly on the bigger sites, and there's in the footer, there's all the kind of commercial things and there's lots of internal links to the site. The one that I always go to is the one that says advertising or who owns the website. Because if big corporates are buying up sites in the dragon fruit niche, I know it's a really good niche. I don't need big corporates there. That's on the top ranking sites, but I always love to check out their advertising rates. If they're a bigger site, because that tells me how much I can make off the website. You can reverse engineer most websites pretty easily once you know what you're doing. You can get a fair idea even before you do full due diligence of how much money's making. So then the cool thing is we go to these, I guess you call them unsophisticated site owners. So there's a big range of website owners out there, and they're the ones that are, ma and pa's or someone that's just passionate about dragon fruit. They've just neglected it. You go, oh, $1,000. And they go, yeah, cool. Stick in PayPal, done.
They were excited about it for a while, and they're not keeping it up anymore. Someone like my son calls and he loves dragon fruit, and they're like, oh, wow, you're going to take my baby and you're going to help it grow. And yeah, they'd be stoked to do that.
And you meet nice people. So I think of Nathan and Alexa buying that gardening site. They said they got on really well with the guy. He was stoked. He was really, sorry, that's an Aussie term.
Oh, no, I say stoked. Yeah, it's a surfing term is what it is.
Yeah, surfing term. Yeah, he was stoked that this lovely young couple wanted to take it and build it up again. And he said, sure. He goes, I'm not doing anything with it. You can have it for $400. And the rest is history. It went really well. They've done that multiple times.
Let's talk a little more about the monetization piece. So there's different ways to monetize. It's either through ads or through affiliates. I heard you talk about there's different ad networks. So sometimes you can see a website and they're literally just using an ad network that pays half the price. You can buy that site and you can double the revenue. What are the different kinds of ad networks out there? What are we looking for?
There's three big ones that are fantastic for people in our community, anyone listening when you start out. So in the good old days, I still manage my own ads myself, but it's all automated. So really what happens is you open an AdSense account for free with Google. Google gives you a bit of code and they allow you to put that onto a website. You just use what's called a plugin and it automates everything. You literally just copy and paste the ad code into the plugin and it sticks it all around the website and you can place those ads. Now that's kind of 101. That's the manual way. Even though it's all automated, it's considered manual these days. The other way you can do it is you can sign up with these ad networks and they manage all the ads for you. Now, you can't do this as a beginner. You need to have a well-ranking website because it's a paid service to a degree. But what they guarantee is that there's no guarantee. They say they will make you more money than you trying to manage the ads yourself. And they are constantly, with the help of AI, optimizing these ads. So basically your website becomes like an online billboard. You're renting out the space to these ad networks and they manage it and they manage the inventory. There's also ad brokers that you can go to who will go out and source direct advertisers to get onto your websites. It's not difficult. It's a really simple business model. But as your site gets bigger, it gets easier and you make way more money. And the best example is a lovely father and son couple. They made a lot of money out of commercial real estate in America. And they did our course and they bought this site on pets and it was making $300,000 net. So they bought it for $1 million. So 3 times 300. So they bought it for $1 million. They doubled that. Now in the interview when we did it with them, we said it was literally within 2 weeks. But in the interview, we said it was over 6 months because I don't think people would believe it. But all they did was change the ad. They went to one of these ad networks. It's called Raptive and it literally doubled because it's such a big website with so much volume. This is a site with thousands of articles. It's a $1 million website. So you think about talking about leverage now, that site now makes $600,000 a year. They did some other renos. So all up within 6 months, that website's now worth $2.5 million and it's netting 600,000. But honestly, the main strategy that they did was change to an ad managed networks. And there's 3 big ones. One's called Azoic, one's called Raptive, and one's called Mediavine. Mediavine's definitely the best, but you need a lot of traffic. That's not a beginner site. You need 50,000 visitors a month. That's when you start seeing these bigger sites. And you can always pick them. Once you know what you're doing, is the other thing. You know how I said when I'm checking out the top ranking sites, I'm always looking at either their advertising rates or I'm looking at the ad networks that they're using on the ads. You can see there's a little tiny, these days I have to disclose who's running the ads on the site, whether it's Google Direct, and you can just have a look. Once you know what you're doing, it's really easy. It's a 5-second job. Because the next level up from this that I should mention, see, there's a lot going on here, but the other way you can make a lot of money out of websites is when you start to get medium-sized businesses directly advertising onto the website. Now, that is absolute gold. So instead of going through these ad networks or to Google, you don't get paid much. You get paid like 20 cents a click, 50 cents a click. If we can get a direct advertiser onto the website, extreme example here, but say it's a dragon fruit distributor in America, the biggest. Well, if your son has the number one ranking site, or not even number one, just a high ranking site with a really passionate following of people into dragon fruit, well, it's a no-brainer for them to pay him $200 a month or $1,000 a month, or it depends on the niche. I'm picking on dragon fruit because I'm presuming it might be that amount. In big niches though, so we have a friend that owns a multi-million-dollar car site. And that was his strategy. He got the car advertisers to advertise on the site. Instead of getting 50-cent clicks, he's getting $50,000 a month off their direct ads. And then he sold that for $60 million. That's at the top level. That's the benchmark that you want to go for. So that's why I always look at the advertising rate, because I can see, they charge $2,000 a month to place an ad somewhere on their website in a premium position. That is gold information if you're benchmarking certain niches. So that's how I know in my head. I've been doing this for 15 years. I've done my 10,000 hours. I know thousands of niches. I got a rough idea of how much the site should be making just because I've done that sort of research over the years.
I hear what you're saying. You start with ads and you can do ads on your own if it's not big enough. But then if you get big enough, then you go to an ad network because they're not going to work with someone who has 100 visits to the site. It just doesn't make sense for them. But from there, if they're selling the ads, then great. But if you go to something that's very niche and it's like there's a niche advertiser out there, you can do one of two things. You can either have them pay like a flat amount to have traffic. And this is kind of how we do podcast advertising, right? It's like you can do a CPM model where for every 1,000 listens, you're paying $20, $25, $30, whatever. Or you can do like a flat fee, but no one's going to pay a flat fee that's higher than the CPM unless it's someone who's like directly in my niche and they know that they can make money from that, right? So you have that. And then another way to do something similar though would be affiliate marketing, where you get paid based on the performance. So it's quote unquote a little more risk on your end, but I've heard travel site bloggers. I was listening to a podcast with a little knowledge that I know. She was saying that she can make 3 times the amount from her travel site with affiliate advertising. Hey, go see this thing here, but you pay to go on a tour or whatever, right? She makes 3 times the amount doing affiliate marketing in that way versus just the regular ads.
That's our whole strategy pretty much in a nutshell that we've been doing for the last 15 years. It's either AdSense or these affiliate links. And certain niches, really interesting, what you got to be careful of, some niches, this is again looping back now, see all this feeds in together, is why you need to research the niches, because some niches, e.g. the recipe niche, only seem to work off AdSense blocks. They don't work so well with affiliate links. But then there's other niches, say like exercise equipment or 4-wheel drive equipment or trampolines. You can make a fortune off affiliate links. And we advise people don't put AdSense blocks on there because you're only going to get like 20 cents a click for an AdSense, but you might get $5, or some niches you might get $100 as an affiliate payout. So you only need a fraction of the traffic and you can make a lot more money. So sometimes affiliate links work better. Sometimes AdSense blocks work better. And then if you're a little bit of a geek on this stuff, so Liz and I studied zoology at uni. That's how we met. So we love this sort of thing. You test and measure. And that's what we were taught as scientists. That's the beauty of owning a site with quite a bit of traffic, because you can say for a month, you might test just running ads. And then for another month, you might just run affiliate offers. And then another month, you might run both on the same page, on your best pages. You can test and measure. And that's how we become really knowledgeable in this. You're constantly tweaking up your website, and different niches work better. And what we're always trying to do, why we like researching so many niches, and it's a lot of fun. Like all our clients say the same. Yeah, it sounds boring, keyword research, but all of a sudden, once you understand what you're doing, it's fascinating just seeing what works in certain niches. And it's really easy. It's like literally do it during your lunch break. You just sit and look at sites and go, oh, wow, look how they're monetized.
It's so much fun. Last time my daughter she was asking like what kind of games we like to play. I don't know where this got brought up, but I'm just like, I like to play real money, like real life games. It's so much fun, like all the different ways. I'm constantly analyzing in my mind, okay, if we get this many listeners and we can get this high a CPM, then we can make it higher with this thing. And then we do a program and it'll go to here. It's just numbers, like business. It's just fun with numbers. And once you dive into a niche and you understand how it works, it's just, I don't know, it's so much fun.
Talking about those numbers, if you have a bit more knowledge, the other very powerful strategy to monetize websites is by courses, offering courses. So teaching people how to buy real estate, or teaching people like, you and Tara did, and teaching people what you've done. People want to know. Again, this comes back to my original idea that we learned when we very first got online. People are looking for answers. That's all they're doing. And if we can help them, then we can charge $49 or $99. And, we teach people in lots of niches that we're in. So we've got a site about pigeons. It's got ebooks on it about how to raise racing pigeons. People pay for that, and that's a course. It's on autopilot. Don't even look at it. If you're in the finance niche or teaching people how to become wealthy or lose weight or health thing, that's when you start to talk big businesses online. So 7 and 8 figure businesses. If you can sell courses, you can make a lot of money off very little traffic. So say how to grow dragon fruit, if there's a niche for it. But you've got to do research. You've got to figure out, is there a need for it? And then you do the usual thing. You build a funnel to sell a course. And I'm sure any of your listeners and yourself have seen all those courses out there that teach that sort of stuff. But if you've got that knowledge, that's beautifully fits with what we teach. If you can buy these diamonds in the rough, that's when you make the big money. You go, oh, if I could add a course in here. Imagine you found a real estate site now that had, say, 10,000 visitors a month, and it was just some guy talking about buying real estate in rural US, how to buy it at a bargain price. And that's all. And he just blogged for free about it because he's passionate, and he got bored and walked away because he's gone back to his day job of driving a truck or whatever. You buy that site, it's going to be worth a fortune just in your hands. That's the sort of thing you want to look for.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Yeah, boy! Hope you guys enjoyed that episode as much as I did. Once again, this is part 2 of a 4-part series. Stay tuned for parts 3 and 4 over the next few days. In the meantime, keep it cranking, keep it going. You got this. We believe in you. You can do it. If you like this episode or are enjoying this series, please share with a friend. And we will see you all next time. Until then, this is Justin Williams, your Chief Money Making Officer, signing off. Class dismissed.